Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I am excited to share with you guys a new game that was very recently announced, a Marvel title called Marvel Strike Force. Now this is the actual game as it is currently out on the iOS store only for New Zealand. I'm not actually going to get into the kind of rules or how that was possible for me to play this game. I didn't take a plane, I can tell you that much. But if you want to play, I'm sure enough of you are smart enough that you'll figure out a way to do it if you have an iOS device. Currently it's not available yet to even test on Android, and there's no guarantee that the game we're playing right now will be the exact same game that is released next year, because the game was announced to be released officially in 2018. So we may be playing on a beta server. This could be a test thing. You know, things that you're going to see are subject to change. But I have been playing around. I'm level 12 now, and I wanted to share with you guys my feedback and my feeling from playing this game. I think it's doing some things right. I think it's got some things to improve, but I'm getting a few similar vibes. Now, the primary question that most people have is, what kind of fighting style is it? What kind of game is it? Well, I can tell you that if you've played something like DC Legends, if you've played something like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, you'll be very familiar with the combat style. It is a kind of team tactical RPG where you have turn-based combat, you select skills for your characters, and the enemies select skills for their characters, and then you go through a battle together. I'm going to take you through a couple now so you guys can see what the gameplay looks like. We use energy as a renewable resource that you're familiar with most mobile games having as a way of gating your progress through time, but in this case we're going to be fighting against some enemies, and there's a possibility that we're going to be getting Punisher shards in order to unlock or upgrade the character. So there are a lot of very familiar themes that we're seeing from a lot of other mobile titles, and there are a lot of Marvel heroes to you know, get and unlock and power up. And there's also a pretty cool story that goes along with it. Here we have Spider-Man talking to Luke Cage. You can see that the art style is kind of bulky. It's very similar to things that we've seen before from Marvel Contest of Champions. A lot of people are guessing that this has something to do with Kabam, or there are some Kabam employees working alongside or closely with some of these other art designers for this game, but it looks pretty cool. You can see here, this is my squad. I can tap people out or tap people in as I see fit. I only have 5 heroes, so that's going to fill out my entire roster, but if I had more, I could choose the ones that I wanted based on power level, based on what kind of character they are, and I'll get into that a little bit later, because there are, I believe, 5 different character types in terms of what they actually do. And then I can set them up. What's interesting to see already is that they're developing multiple different game threads in the story mode, at least. So you can see here only hero characters are allowed in these campaign missions, and I'm going to hit ready to jump into the mission. But I'm assuming, I haven't gotten this far yet, but there's also going to be a villain campaign where you can only use villains. I've already unlocked a couple of hand enemies. I think they're mages, and I've also unlocked Elektra, not a Elektra. I've unlocked the Elektra, Black Sky, but I can't use her because she's a villain in this game, so she can't be used on this hero stage. But you can see here, Winter Soldier appears to be a hero. He's working with Hydra, and we're trying to stop him and some AIM agents from, you know, doing something about a portal. Because this game involves heroes and villains being on both sides, you know, a lot of the artwork so far has shown kind of an enraged Hulk with red eyes. They've utilized, and they're using in their storyline this idea of using dimensional portals to bring in different realities and bring in different versions of your favorite characters. So maybe this Hulk is not from our universe, he's from a different universe, and this Hulk is really angry and he wants to kill the Avengers, for example, or he wants to beat them up. So that is how they're explaining the fact that you're fighting potentially against a bad guy version of Captain America, a bad guy version of Hulk, Black Widow, etc. But that stage was fairly easy because my characters are overpowered, but you could see there that it was turn-based combat, that I have different skills, and that when I complete the level, I get, you know, XP for my account to level up, I get gold, I get some items that I can use that I'll talk about a little bit later. These 2 items here, the orb fragments and the ability materials, are for my gear and for skills, and then that green one there is for actually leveling up my characters, like XP chips, and then we have the Punisher shards to rank up our Punisher. So moving back and taking a look quickly at how the game is going to break down in terms of progress. So the main progress is going to be achieved through your roster, and your roster is how you get more powerful. Your characters don't actually level up with your account, but your account level will dictate the strength of your heroes, because my account level is 12, so my heroes can only go up to level 12. So I can actually go in now to Spider-Man, and we can hit that train button there at the bottom left hand corner, and we can level him up. So going into different missions, going into the arena, etc., will not level up your characters. They don't accrue experience through actual combat, but through completing different types of missions, you'll get these XP kind of chip looking things, and then you can use them, as many as you need, to level them up. So far I haven't had any need to grind for XP chips. I've had an abundance of them, which is good, and you can see when he levels up, he gets, you know, a boost in his different stats, and his power level goes up. Power level being like a rough guide to how strong the character is. In addition, on the screen we can see a couple of things. We see gear kind of flanking the character on the left and the right. Some of them we can hit the plus sign to see that we need to be character level 16 to equip this. We can also craft this by using some of the web fluid and the DNA, but we just don't have the right level for it, for the bone augmentation, as this item is called. It's actually cut off the screen, but that's okay. So that gear is what's going to primarily level up your stats, in addition to leveling up your character with the training. So that's very reminiscent of Galaxy of Heroes, where you have all these different items that you're going to farm for and then use them to upgrade your character's gear, to upgrade their stats. When you upgrade all of their stats, you can then upgrade their tier. So I've upgraded Spider-Man's gear 3 times. I'm at tier 3, so it kind of goes logically. And then we have his abilities, and the abilities will do different things. You can read the text and see what it does, and you can upgrade it, as you can see, once you hit a certain level and once you use a certain number of these materials. So we can already see that even though this game is fresh out of the gate, there's already a lot of different resources to farm for and lots of different ways that you can use them in. Whether that's going to mean that the game is a bit frustrating to play because you're trying to micromanage all these different resources, or whether that's going to mean that there's a lot of longevity and a lot of slow, satisfying grind to this game, is yet to be seen. But I do like the fact that they're pretty thorough in everything. They haven't left anything up to chance, or they haven't left anything kind of half done. I just unlocked Tangled Web by getting Spider-Man up to I believe tier 3, or perhaps it was level 11, and this is a different move now that has a stun in addition to damage. But then I can unlock Spidey Sense, which I'm assuming is a passive ability, when I get my gear to tier 4. So some of the things are level tiered locked, and some of them are gear tiered locked. If we go back to my entire roster, we can see I have Elektra that I couldn't select for that mission. We have other characters, Bullseye, Hulk. You've got a lot of your familiar kind of staple Marvel heroes, but it's almost exclusively MCU heroes and the Netflix series heroes like Kingpin, Punisher, etc. We don't see any X-Men, we don't see Deadpool, we don't see a lot of the other factions being represented here. Of course, no Fantastic Four, anything like that. But hopefully this roster will be expanded in the future, because there's a lot of very classic, iconic heroes and villains missing. In addition, I think that it's a bit strange, but it's definitely unique to this game that they have kind of civilians as part of their roster. So as you can see, I have the Shield Medic. This is one of the early healer classes that you get that allows you to do emergency treatment, which heals 3 allies with their lowest health for a certain amount. This is a very useful character, of course, but they have very little, if any, meaning to the MCU and the Marvel Universe in comics in general. This is just kind of a unique quirk of this game. You can see there are Kree nobles, there's an AIM security guard, there's a hand sentry, a hand archer, a hand blade master. So there's all these kinds of NPC type characters, a Kree cyborg. Okay. And you'll be able to use them. Whether they're going to be as strong as the regular Marvel heroes and villains that we've come to know and love, or whether they're just going to be supplementary characters that you use now and then, or use in certain specific team combos, we'll have to wait and see as the game develops, but I think it's pretty interesting. I also discussed about the different types of characters. So they've broken it down into characters that have their blaster type characters. So you can see here that I don't have many blaster types, but I do have Punisher and a Shield Trooper. They use primarily, guns and things like that. Iron Man is also a blaster type. You have your support types. So again, the healer would come up as one. Nick Fury comes up as another one. Go figure. You have your, not Avengers, sorry. You have your tech type, and those are ones like Iron Man, Crossbones, Hydra Grenadier, and things like that. And there's a couple other that I'm missing here. There's a Brawler that I can't seem to see here. Oh, here we go. We got Mystic types, so that would be like the Arcane ones, but apparently also Yondu. We have Brawlers, so those are the ones that are going to fight up close, like Spider-Man. And then we have Controllers, who are going to use stuns, probably, and other kind of crowd control effects. And then you also have Defenders like Luke Cage, and also actually the Defenders. I think he's called a Protector, actually. And those are characters that use taunts and things like that to you know, affect the battle. So there's a lot of interesting mechanics going on, a lot of RPG elements being put into the skills to kind of reflect what we're used to from traditional RPGs, whether they're ARPGs or turn-based or something like that. In addition to the regular campaign, we can already find at Shield level 12 or kind of level 12 an arena where I can go and I can fight against other characters. I don't know if this is a real player or it's just an auto-generated team, but I could battle them if I didn't already battle with my team. You get one team every 6 hours. So you can see here that about 30 minutes ago I had a battle, so my characters are on cooldown. So this kind of produces an idea that you're going to need to have a large roster. I don't think you can get doubles of characters, which is a good thing to note, because I know that a lot of people who are put off from something like Marvel Contest of Champions are put off because you have 2, 3, 4, 5, and now 6-star versions, I believe 6-star versions of the same character. It doesn't seem to be the case here. I'm not sure, or I don't know what addition I need to rank up Spider-Man to 3 stars, but I know I need at least 55 of his shards, as you can see there from the bottom right-hand corner, and unfortunately I can't get them from anywhere other than the store at the moment. But overall, I think the game has some pretty cool elements. They also have these challenges here that you can do on different days, and you can get different items. So this is similar to the daily quests that you have in something like DC Legends, where it alters or kind of rotates every day and you get different items based on what day it is. They also have different restrictions, which I think is cool. So only blaster types are allowed in the Catalyst of Change, and then on training day, or rather medical supply run, you can only use protectors and support. So it's kind of thematic in that way, which is cool. And assuming that these are just the same, when you use a different currency to fight these as well, so you get 3 runs per day, which I think is pretty cool, because then you get to choose whether you need gold or you need XP chips. But I'm thinking this is just going to be similar, if not identical, to the story missions, where you just get auto-generated enemies and then you have to beat them. In addition to these types of quests, though, I've already noticed that they have a secondary type of quest, which is like a stall quest, which I think is quite cool. And essentially, like this little intro here, and you can actually speed it up if you don't like the animations, and you can also long press on the skills to get an idea of what they do in case you forgot. But we're just going to auto play through this while I discuss it. In addition to these regular kind of winner-take-all, kill your enemy first kind of fights, which you're used to, there's also the stall type of fighting, which is essentially you have an objective that one of the characters is using or doing on their turn, whether it's scanning for some item, searching for someone, activating some kind of energy source, and all of your other characters or fighters on your team are going to be just stalling and trying to fight the other team. You might be able to defeat them, but usually they're much more powerful than you are, and you're just trying to stall for as long as you can until you succeed, and until that character that needs to do its job gets through enough turns. So I want to show you here, it's on this Jessica Jones mission. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. We're going to skip this chat here about Ronan and how he's going to wake up soon. Don't have any other heroes to select, so we're going to jump right in. That guy in the middle there is called Ultimus. He's neither Cable nor Thanos. We don't know his origins yet, but he is the one causing this kind of disruption, and he appears to be the main antagonist of the game. But once you jump in, you'll see what I mean by the fact that this is a stall mission. This one is going to, again, appear easy because I'm over-leveled for it, but we're going to get to one particular character's turn, and they're not actually on my team. They're this character right here, and they only have one ability, which is this scan, which advances the objective by pushing the button. So they are only turn when they have a turn, and the turn meter is signified by that blue bar at the bottom there, is to scan. And when they scan, the shield helicarrier that's coming to pick us up gets closer and closer. So it's got these cool little quirks and these nice kind of story missions that make sense and add an extra layer of complexity to a game that hasn't even been fully released yet. You know, to give an example of a competing game, and I've already talked about it a few times in this video, DC Legends. all of the story missions, whether they're on normal or heroic mode, don't ever employ this tactic. Every single fight, every single level or node that you complete is just beat the enemy before they beat you. So I like the fact that the publisher here has decided to, and we're going to taunt here with Luke Cage. I like the fact that the publisher decided to get a bit creative with it. I'm not sure if Galaxy of Heroes has these types of missions as well. I don't recall because it's been a while since I played the game. But it's cool to see that they're doing this. And that they're taking some, you know, creative strokes with kind of a pretty formulaic type of game at this point in the tactical RPG. Doesn't have too much new to offer. I think gamers know that. One thing I do like as well about this game is there's actually character intra-character interaction when different skills are being done. So you might have missed it there, but you might be able to see it now. I'm selected Punisher, and Punisher is actually standing behind Spider-Man. I'm going to use his primary attack, but Spider-Man might actually duck out of the way, and there he did. And that actually would realistically happen. Spider-Man would sense that Punisher is going to shoot. He ducks. You know, Frank gets his shots off, and then the bad guys go down. So I think it's a really cool added effect, and what it essentially does is it gives us the illusion that this game is not turn-based, because even though it's not Spider-Man's turn, Spider-Man's doing something. So I think it's pretty clever on the part of the game developers to do that, and I think it's something that most of the fans will appreciate, and it might convince some fans who don't usually try turn-based RPG games to actually attempt it. And I think that's the final turn for this stall. We still had 4 enemies to go, and if I'd been more aggressive, I might have been able to beat them all. But as you can see there, the point of the mission, and I'm going to get, I believe, 3 stars here. Maybe just 2. I'm not sure how to get the 3rd star. Oh no, I got 3 stars this time. Awesome. I can complete the mission perfectly without actually beating all of the enemies, and that's an example of one of these different types of missions. So overall, I think that they've definitely taken a really good first step with this game. I'm interested to see how it continues. I don't want to get too much into the store items or the different currencies that we see at the top there. It's pretty standard fare as far as mobile titles are concerned, but I wanted to give you an idea of, oh, I have an alliance too in case you want to join my alliance. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what you can expect from this game if you're looking forward to it, what kind of playstyle and gameplay you can see from it, and if you're going to enjoy it or not. And actually, we're just going to open this basic orb here and see if we get anything good. This is kind of like a chest opening little snippet here at the end, except they're called orbs. Oh, okay, we got a a Kree Reaper shard. That's cool. We just need a whole bunch more before we can unlock her. And I think we had one more thing to get. Nope. We almost have enough for a premium orb. Sound familiar? As far as shards go. Anyways, that is the introductory experience and my thoughts so far on Marvel Strike Force. Let me know what you think of this game, if it's exciting to you or not, if you like the art style, if you have any information that I missed or glossed over. Subscribe if you're having a good time, or if you're new. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.